Hey everybody, it's Mike Pingel from The Mike Pingel Show. Welcome to the 2021 first edition. And today we have the amazing, the wonderful, he didn't do my makeup today. Brett Freedman is here. Brett is the owner of Brett Glam and has his own line of makeup at brettfreedman.com, but has also worked with some of the Hollywood's hottest women in town, Taylor Swift, Sarah Silverman, and of course, Reba McEntire. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. Thank you for asking me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm a fan.
Thank you for taking time. And I hope you're doing well in this wacky pandemic, never-ending world.
I know, right? It's so strange. It's so surreal.
And you're doing some work now too, right? I've seen you like dabbling on and doing some people's.
Yeah, unbelievably. I can't believe I'm still, because I have the makeup line, the brow line, but then I also work as a makeup artist, so I just, I didn't for a few months. And then, once we everyone got like, oh, it's germs and masks and testing and we figure it out. Like Hollywood, listen, there's a lot of money at stake. So I'd say by midsummer, I was doing shoots and traveling and doing all the precautions and I'm a newlywed, basically. I've been married, we celebrated a year in last summer in COVID. So it's like in quarantine, trying to figure out, together 25/8. And then trying to figure out work and what does the work look like for me. And it's been a very intense.
Yeah, I forgot you recently got married. So, in the last year, that must have been challenging because.
Yeah, because I'm not used to being here. I'm used to traveling, know? And then, so I'm in and out and he has his own life and career. So, to be together all the time. It was an adjustment, and I like my own time. I'm very outgoing, but I need to recoup a little. You know what I mean? Like I need to power down. I know. So that was, but we, I say we got through without any gunplay. So I guess we were winning.
That's a good thing. Okay. My first question is, how did you get into makeup?
So makeup, I think growing up, I always could draw and I was the kid in class that was an artist. And so it was very I remember my parents weren't like, don't, if I had struggle with math and all that, the story was like, you're not going to need it because you're going to be an artist. So I just knew I would be an artist. And I was always draw eyes, and I would always get my dad would get my parents would get the National Enquirer, and my dad would draw on them. He had eyelashes. He was an artist, but ended up a caterer. But which is an art in itself. But so I would color pencil. So I would do I would turn Robert Stack into Joan Collins, or I'd take Joan Collins with these colored pencils and with thin markers. Put even more makeup on her, to drag her out even more. So that was where I got but this is the early 80s. There weren't really a makeup art. I didn't know how to make that a career. You could be an Avon lady, which had lady in the title. I didn't know anyone that did. So it was sort of an odd, I thought, I could work in the department store, but again, I never saw men doing that. And I remember I told my mom, I was like, I want to learn to cut hair. I think I was 11 or 12. She goes, oh, Brett, you don't want to do that. Male hairdressers are homosexuals. And I was like, well, I don't know what that is. It didn't sound good.
Yeah.
So there were challenges, but, I would always, as I got older, I would do makeup on the neighborhood girls and dress them up as Madonna, in the early 80s, but then give them the whole like a virgin makeover, and then do glamour shots in the basement. I would put up a backdrop with duct tape and put the girl in my mom's wedding dress and do like a virgin. Yeah, it was crazy. It was and so it was pretty much I'm going to be a makeup
That's amazing, because I just assumed you were a model at some point or some actor.
Oh, I like that spin. I like that spin.
But no, I love that you found your what you wanted and you kept going. How did you perfect your Brett glam?
The Brett glam. Well, whenever I started in Miami because then like Allure came out in the early 90s. I did go to art school and I was worked in visual communications, like ad design. I worked at an ad agency and I was drawing weird stuff and changing, draw a polar bear pulling a truck up a hill and then now make the polar bear a little thinner. Like I was like, I can't do this forever. I was like, I should do makeup. And Allure came out and they were talking about people and they were talking about South Beach, Miami. It was a big thing. This is like 1992. So I was like, well, then I need to move to Miami from Pittsburgh. So I moved there and I got a job in a makeup store. And that's where I learned to do brows. And I started doing drag queens on the weekend for $25. I would stay after hours. I'd work all day. I can't even imagine I did this. I did makeup all day and then work on the weekends all night doing makeup. And yeah, so when I moved to LA, because I thought, oh, I need to move to a bigger market from Miami. It's either New York or LA. I wanted to work year round, whereas Miami was very seasonal. So I from Pittsburgh, I knew the New York thing, and I was 28, and I just thought I'm a little too old to be scrappy again because I started working a lot, and I got written up like an Allure, doing brows, and I was doing commercials for like, European commercials for Heineken and Privat coffee and champagne. So I was making a lot of money, and I was doing well. I was young. And I thought, oh, I'll go to LA. I want to work with actresses. At the time, I remember saying out loud to a friend, like, I'd rather do Sharon Stone's makeup than Linda Evangelista. That was like in the 96. So I was like, I need to be in LA. And I came to look at it and I was like, yes, I'm going to live here. And then I didn't work for a while because I didn't have any actresses. I was doing all models.
Yeah.
But eventually it kicked in. I remember my first celeb I did was Moon Unit Zappa. This is in 1996 to do her headshots. So I had covers of magazines for European magazines in my book. And then I got here and I was doing headshots and trying to be a super scrap, but I just wanted to work, I was like, oh, and I just thought, I love Valley Girl. So that was really cool. She was really cool. And I remember we shot her headshot, one of the set, we just walked around the photographer's apartment and we shot it in an alley. And I thought, well, this is Hollywood. Yeah. Who would know? We're next to
arrived. You have arrived.
Yeah, and I just thought anyone that had been on television, I was sort of starstruck by Moon Unit Zappa, and she couldn't have been cooler. And then I did Courtney Thorne-Smith, last year of Melrose Place, and for a magazine cover, wow. And I had been an extra in Revenge of the Nerds Part 2, Ooh. And in Florida, when I was in art school, and in the 80s, and she came out of a trailer I mistakenly was going in, and I saw her. So in my mind, we were in a movie together. I was an extra. Oh. She was starring in Revenge of the Nerds Part 2. But anyway, so when I worked with her, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. She was on stuff. I knew who she was. And then after that, that publicist said, oh, I do this person. And then it just happened. And I started, because I started working with celebrities, I started getting deals with makeup lines, Revlon, to say I used it on the red carpet. So this is all in the late 90s. And that's kind of I was sort of okay, if I'm making all this money, they're paying me so much. What if I had my own line? Yeah. And said I used stuff and then also my stuff. I really, when saying it now out loud, it's very savvy. I was always afraid of being poor because I had struggled for so long. So I just was turn everything into something bigger, turn everything into something bigger. And you're the same, probably, we are doing our own thing. Yeah. And trying to find, yet we don't have, there's no safety net. If we have 31 days a month to make our month. And if we take a week off, then we have how many days to get, you know what I mean? Whatever. I'm not smart enough to know what 31 minus 7 is, but those are the amount of days.
Because people like us never take those weeks off.
No, I'm not in tune with vacations. That's like my husband's like, take time off, do this. And I'm just like, well, then I can't work.
Yeah.
I'm just so, yeah, it's so ingrained. And I think, you know, so it's funny. We meet people that fill our gaps, because then now it's like, oh, I can take a week off and the world doesn't end. I think I'm, you know, so it's, but yeah, so that's why I started the makeup line, because I kind of was like, let me do this thing. I always knew about brows. I was always like good at brows.
Exactly. So do you find the Brett brow, is that your signature in your line?
Yeah, most of the line is about the brows. So it's, you know, I remember when I lived in Miami and I was working in the makeup store, there's a guy, Robert Diaz, who was like, Brett, you need to learn, if you want to do makeup, you have to learn to do brows, because a lot of makeup artists don't do brows because they're afraid to change the shape of arches and do all that. So that will be your point of difference. And it was the best advice I ever got. So I remember I did a shoot right before Bring It On. I was doing, when she was in Dick and stuff, Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, right.
So she was a teenager and so fun and so cool. And she was about to do this movie, Cheer Fever, which then turned into Bring It On. But I saw her on a shoot, and I was doing Mila Kunis. She was in That 70s Show, and they did a movie together, and I ended up doing Mila for the press junket. And Kirsten was like, oh my God, Brett will do your brows. He's a makeup artist that does brows. So I always thought, like, it's true. Like, you know, they were like, oh, you're gonna. So that was my thing. So I was like, I'm gonna do brows. So I came up with these like pro colors of brows, and you know.
So that was your signature that pulled you apart from other celebrity.
Yeah. I was known that I would do your brows.
Make your brows as Hollywood as it can be. That's glamorous. Who has the best brows in Hollywood, by the way? Who does?
Ooh, best brows in Hollywood. Well, you know, Camila Bell, you know, the little actress Camila Bell, love her brows. And I've been doing her since she's a teen. Oh, wow. She has fantastic brows. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, yes.
Has really great brows, which I remember when I was doing her for press for Chicago, you know, I had like a dark pencil, you know, I had like a chocolate, and she was like, no, my brows are almost black. I do like almost a black. And I was like, no, we want to see the hairs. So now, you know, and it was like this whole thing. I'm like, you're sure? But she, you know, to this day, she does like a lighter arch. And I feel like, you know, it softened her face. I loved it. But yeah, you know, brows are a big deal, you know, to women, like as guys, yeah. Well, I was doing Beauty Editor. Now today I like filled in my brows because I was doing Beauty Editor Zooms all day. So I started filling in my brows with them, and now I look like, you know, Dan Levy.
You do not look like Dan Levy.
I wish I did.
I mean, you would be an Emmy winner, but yes. So you dropped a couple names. One you have not dropped, of course, is Reba McEntire. Reba and you are like two peas in a pod. Now, I can't wait to get your tell-all book of you and Reba on the road, because I'm sure there is at some point, because I know you two get in more trouble than anybody else. How did that relationship start? And it has blossomed into something so fun to watch on Instagram and everything else you got.
Oh, thank you for that. Well, we have fun, and she's game, you know, and I think because I work with a lot of comedians, I just kind of I've absorbed that, and I think she's game to do like funny stuff. And but with Reba, what's interesting is I was doing a bunch of stuff in the late 90s, early 2000s with TV Guide. And that's when they had like the actual magazine, and they were doing like full on shoots, and they would hire, like for the fall preview, they would hire like makeup art, like hair makeup people that were working on red carpet and all that. So they didn't want to use the people on the show because they didn't want them to look like their characters. Not that the people on the show are bad, but they were just like, we really want to get them out of there. We have to give them like a fashion edge or something. So I get I was doing that weekend, Brian Edwards, this guy that I just like met, I think through E or something, was like, listen, I'm kind of putting together this thing for Tanya Tucker. Tanya, and we need you to go to Nashville. Will you do her makeup for this new CD? So this is like in 2002. So I'd never done a country person, singer, country western, as I used to say.
So not Hollywood, so different.
Yeah, it's just different. So I was like, oh, and then that weekend they're like, well, now like TV Guide wants you to, they're shooting Returning Favorites. So it's the second season of the Reba show. And so she was on the cover with the Chris Maloney, who was on CSI or something. And then the girl that ended up, Julie Bowen, who was on Ed. So she came as Ed, and then it was Chris Maloney and Reba. So these are your returning favorite shows for the second season. So they're like, oh, you have to come back on Sunday for that. So it was like this crazy thing where I did like this Tanya Tucker, and who was a doll, and I got such a kick out of her. But then to come back, and then with Reba, and I ended up coming right from the airport to the shoot, and the plane was a little late, and so Reba was waiting, and the stark difference, because Tanya was like very like, let's start the shoot whenever, even though we're all like there, it's like hours, and Reba was like ready to go. She had all of her stuff, so she had her moisturizer out, the stuff she liked, and we hit it off, and we had fun. And now when I look at those pictures, I went through this phase where I was like, I don't want to do a lot of makeup, like clean, fresh, I think it was like, I don't know why, but so I did that on her. And if you look at that cover, she literally looks like an Olsen twin. She looks 12 years old. And she even joked. She's like, I was like, oh, Reba, I'm shocked you ever hired me again after that cover. She goes, me too. Because it's just low fun. And then it is funny because I think like 2 years later, she ended up doing another cover, just her. Mm-hmm. And you could see, doing someone's makeup, it's like getting it right. Is like hitting a hole in one on the moon, like the first time. Like you really do need to kind of get your vibe and, and get the thing. And I actually do Reba's hair too. I don't cut or color it. I don't know how to do that, but I can style, like just because I'm scrappy. I learned in Miami, if you do both, you'll work more. So I had a friend that worked at Orbe, and I was like, teaching how to do a blow dry. So it is funny, the evolution of like the hair and makeup from that to like the cover of her alone. Yeah. And we've had like a great time. She's so cool, and I've learned a lot from her. She's my friend. Mm-hmm. Kind of weird, but like we're friends.
Not weird. Trust me, I understand.
Yeah. You have the same. Like where it blurs the line, and like I hang out with her. Yeah. If I wasn't doing her makeup, I would 100% hang out with her. I think she would consider hanging out with me. No, she'd hang out with me too, I'd like to think. But she's they say like there's like 7 people before you're 30 that change the direction of your life that you're not related to. And even though I met her, it was over 30, but I would consider her professionally, of course. I went on tour with her. I did her for a few seasons of the Reba show. Like they brought me on, and I, stuff for her clothing. Like I've, learned so much from her. And
what was your favorite thing you did with her? What's your sense from today? Your favorite thing?
Yeah, favorite thing. Gosh. You know what we did, which is really funny, is Vanity Fair. Oh God, this is such a crazy, it was probably like 15, 17 years ago, was shooting all the country stars. Like they had a whole issue, a country issue. And they wanted to shoot Reba in Vegas in the Neon Graveyard, which wasn't an attraction then. It really was just a place where this guy just bought up the signs and kept them. Yeah. So they were all this stuff, but Vanity Fair, much like TV Guide, was like, we want to use our people. We don't want Reba to look like Reba, like she always does. We don't want to use her people. So a lot of times, like now that I work with celebrities, it's like whoever has the most power, Like if you're Jennifer Aniston, you can say who you want if you're on the cover of a magazine, But if you're, coming up there, So with Reba, I think she was just like, well, no, I want Brett to do my hair and makeup. And by the way, at that point, I was running around with Gwyneth and Catherine Zeta-Jones and Kirsten Dunst. Like, this is the early 2000s. So it wasn't like I wasn't some yoo-hoo, you know? I was shooting with Vanity Fair on other things, but for whatever reason, that art director for that shoot and that was just like, no, you cannot. We will send you people you can pick from our people who do your hair, who do your makeup. And Reba's like, well, then I'm not doing it.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just like, all right. And they were like, okay. So they went there and then just made my life a living hell the entire time. But, which is like, yeah, and I can't get too mad about it because it's worked both ways for me. I've been the person that the magazine wanted and then the star didn't get who they wanted. So, you know, it just happens. But yeah, but that picture, if you Google it, it's like Vanity Fair, Reba. She's on the silver slipper in a faux fur. And she looks amazing. And it was just fun. Like, went to Vegas for the day, flew private. You know, she flies private. She can't fly on commercial.
Yeah, fly
everyone wants to hug her. You know, it's like she just has that kind of slut. And I work with all sorts of stars. Everyone wants to hug Reba. She's like,
yes.
Yeah, she has that energy. So, you know, and but yeah, that's probably like that Vanity Fair is probably like my favorite.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how do you approach a new client, you know, that you've never worked with? How do you approach their face? Do you know what you want when you go in, or do you conversate with them, or how does that happen for a new client?
Oh my God, that's a good question. I don't know if I want to answer it truthfully.
Okay, you don't have to. You can lie. How would I know?
That's true. No, I'll tell you the truth. So yeah, I had this with Jodie Foster. I just started working a couple years ago with Jodie Foster. And I thought, she's an icon. She's amazing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if like what I do will have power there. I don't know. Like, I was kind of like, she doesn't seem like she's super into makeup, very clean. I think of her as very like Armani. So going in, I actually, and this is what I just kind of, if I'm working with someone new, I look at what they've done, like red carpet, kind of get a gist of like what works on them and what doesn't. And then cleaning entire kit. I like make sure everything's like great. I send them, like I send their people, like this is the products that I use. If they want to use anything else, they can bring it along. I can use anything, but if they're allergic to something, I had a whole thing with, God, what's her name? Heaven Can Wait, Diane Cannon.
Oh, yes.
Where we get to the shoot and she was like, oh, I need a wedge MAC eyeshadow. I was like, oh, well, I have brulee. It's close enough, you know?
Yeah.
No, and she needed to do her hair with distilled water, not like spritz in the spritzer, not regular. We had to stop the shoot and they had to send a PA out to shop for all this stuff. So after that, I was like, okay.
I've learned.
By the way, no one's ever done that since, and it was bonkers. But I got a kick out of her, and we talked a lot about Heaven Can Wait. But anyway, with that whole thing, so I send them, and then because the thing is, I think it's really intimate. You know, you're really close to their face. It's how they look, and this is my little secret, which I always say this to someone. What doesn't work on you, makeup-wise?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, what do you like? And I remember my mother always said to me, she's like, Brett, we never know we can never super articulate what we like, but we always know instantly what we don't like. And I thought I'm going to apply that to makeup, and it has served me very well. So yeah, it's just like, oh, too much liner underneath isn't good. If you don't curl my eyelashes or whatever, I can't have, like I remember Jean Smart was like, you cannot put anything in my brows, even the lightest taupe. I will look like Groucho Marx. So you just ask them what doesn't work. Yeah. And they usually have like the three things. And I think it kind of is a good way to sort of feel in control. Does that, I don't know. It's not that I would ever control anyone, but I think it's like, I think
it allows them to be a part of what you're doing too, and allows you to grow what you know and what you're bringing to them, and knowing what they, you know, I had a situation with my friend Tanya Roberts, who has now passed away.
I'm so sorry about that, by the way.
I had booked her for InStyle for a photo shoot for the Bond people.
Yeah.
They refused to change it because I was out of town. and she really didn't want to do it without me. But they were like, we have to do it on this day.
Yeah.
They went.
How dare you take a vacation? Or
Well,
are you working? It's okay, only okay if you were working.
No, I was at home at my parents, and they changed her look, and she was furious about it.
Yeah.
Furious. She was beyond, and you can tell in the pictures she was not a happy person. And they really were not. The people who are doing the photo shoot and the photographer, and I regret that I was not there, but I told them, I said, do a few with her makeup, because she does her makeup the way she wants to, and then say, hey, can we do it this way too? And then do that. But they didn't do that. They just took her and wiped her face.
Why would they not do that? That's why I think it becomes a power thing. And it's like, at the end of the day, that's like one of the most ridiculous things about my job is, I have a brother who's very political and is like moving the dial, and I follow around famous women with lip gloss. Like, so it is funny. It's like one of the most main things. It's like, it's a pretty picture. Yeah. So why not take some shots of Tanya, how she feels comfortable,
exactly,
and then do it. It takes an extra second. But yeah, it is interesting. It does become about a power thing, and unfortunately, that's why the actresses get gun shy, because they have an experience like that. And
exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you like better? Do you like doing red carpet, or do you like doing photo shoot makeup?
Ooh, I would. You know what? I like the energy of red carpet, because they show the dress and then this and that, and you go and get it all ready. It's like 2.5 hours and you're done, and then you just wait to see the pictures. But the food's always so good on photo shoot. It's like, when am I getting around like an iced brownie in like the wild? Like, so yeah. Oh yeah, I would say red carpet. I just think I like, I like that. I remember like for Catherine, I think it was for Intolerable Cruelty, we were at the Venice Film Festival, and she was there with George Clooney. And for some reason, I ended up going with her. I think because we were gonna, they just brought me because I was traveling. And I ended up with my bag, like on the red carpet. It was like the weirdest, they were just like, who is that? I have no idea. And she's like right there. I don't know what year this is. Probably like 2005, 2000, I don't know. But it was surreal. It was like all these flashes, and she's there, and she's so famous at that point, and so gorgeous. Yeah. And I was like, how did I get here? I mean, not just like, how did I get here on this red carpet, but how am I working with these same people? This is like such a crazy. So yeah, so that, I think that moment was like, I was like, you know what, really enjoy this. Like, this is a great, fun, cool thing to witness, and so that's probably made me think like, oh, I love like the red carpety stuff.
Yeah. All right, talking about red carpet and magazine covers, which is your favorite magazine cover and which is your favorite red carpet look?
Oh, ooh, favorite magazine cover. I did Gwyneth for Elle, and she had just cut bangs. This is a long time ago, but I remember that helped me a lot, having that cover. And she looked fresh, and I remember her saying, like, I was doing her makeup, and I think she was 30 at the time. That's how long ago. So, not a baby. But I mean, she was, it was taking, I work very slowly. And I think she was getting a little tired. And she's like, I know I'm 30, but I mean, are we still like, and I was like, no, I just, get in it. I'm an artist, Yeah. So, but she's like, can I tell you something? And this is like, she's like Kevin would do a lot of this stuff, talking about Kevin Kwan. And I was like, oh my God, that's such a huge compliment. And I didn't say that to her. It just was like, oh, but I just thought like, that's such a huge compliment coming from her. And so that story, and I worked with Orlando Pita, who I read about. It was in New York. Milk Studios, I think, had just opened. So all that stuff. And then when it came out, it helped me in my career. So I think that cover was like really, that was Stephen Huvane, the publicist, who put me on that, and he was so great. And And I think red carpet look I had done when Kirsten Dunst, these are all very old. I mean, I should pick more, but things were more exciting then. Don't you find that in your stuff?
Yeah.
That stuff sticks. Now it's, I don't know why. I'm just, it's like the first time you go to an amusement park. But I had done a dragonfly on the back of Kirsten Dunst for the Dick premiere. She was in with Michelle Williams. I don't even know if anyone ever saw that movie, but they had to fly her by helicopter from Cheer Fever, from Bring It On, to go to the premiere. So she shot all day, and then I just had this idea to do a dragonfly on her back with gems, and I sent it to her publicist. I had to fax it to them from a Kinko's because that was before albums. And I just drew it, and they were like, okay, and then like magazines and stuff picked it up, and she just looked so happy. And so she was like in the pictures like this, and I just thought that was such a fun thing, and that she was game, and something I really don't know if people would do now. Like, it just seems like it's going to make her look like she cares too much or something. I don't know. It was such a fun time in makeup then. So yeah, that'd be my favorite.
What do you think should be in anyone's makeup bag?
Ooh. Okay, boys. Are we still saying boys and girls? Humans generally look good with a little tint to their lip. So, my Dr. Kiss lip balm has a little lift of color. But yeah, I think something like a cherry chapstick or my Dr. Kiss, or giving cheeks and lips a little lift of, as we get older, one of the things like in makeup, if you're aging someone for film, is like to take the color out of their face. That's why I was doing with Biden, who I very much like. And like, there isn't just a little Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer. Just not tan. It doesn't have to look like a Cheeto, just a flesh-colored. But anyway, yeah. So I think like gel bronzer mixed with your moisturizer, a little tinted moisturizer, warm cheeks, lips is great. Eyelash curler opens up the eyes. It actually, if you're putting mascara on and not curling your lashes, it's making them look smaller. Brows. So important. Good natural diffused brow, a little crisp. But I would say the number one thing is a tinted lip balm.
Okay, great. I'll put one in my pocket soon.
Oh my God, I'll send you some Dr. Kiss.
Nice. Is there someone out there that you have not Brett glammed yet that you would like to do?
God, I feel like I've done everyone. Okay, I haven't.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I do. I'm old. I've been around forever. I would say, I've never done a Cher, and I would love to do Cher. I mean, I would rock that face out. I think we'd probably have fun. I would like to do Cher, and it's so funny because I started TikTok.
What did you do just yesterday?
Did you? Yeah, obsessed. I don't know where I fit in that, but I enjoy the videos but I thought it would be funny. I always thought it was funny that there's a guy on Twitter when it started that got God. He's just God on Twitter, and he follows one person, and it's Justin Bieber. And I think that is the funniest bit and so clever. And I thought, you know what? Because now I follow on social media everyone I work with and this and that. But I was like, on TikTok, I'm only going to follow Cher. Ooh. So I think I have like 33,000 followers, but I have one person I follow. And
I don't have anybody. No one's following.
Yeah, it grows fast. The TikTokers, they're in it. Like they'll snap you up. Yeah, you'll just do a few posts, and it grows. My TikTok grew much faster than other stuff. Yeah.
Nice. All right, I have another question. Was there any makeup after you saw it, you wanted to redo?
Yeah, I did Camila Bell, an actress, for an event, and I tried something. I just had this idea of I was like, I feel like everything is like up and out. What if we did something like Cleopatra that was more like horizontal.
Yeah.
And really exaggerated on the ends. And I did it, and she's so gorgeous that, of course, she looked nice, but I knew, I was like, this is a miss. This is a miss. And I actually went home and I felt there was no time to change it. They were kind of like, it's a thing. Like, I don't know. Like, she's a fashion girl, so she's like brave. And I remember saying to the hair guy, I was like, oof, I did not nail it today. And yeah. And then the next day, like usually when I do Camila, because she looks so amazing in makeup, there's always like, especially like internationally, because she's so huge in Spain, and just really pulling apart the stuff that I was doing, and yes, explaining. And then this one's like, what do you guys think? Which is a nice way of saying, like, girl, like, you guys say how bad this is, because we don't want to say. But then, like, it was so weird, because then In Style picked it up, and they were like, this is amazing, and they just got it at a good angle. And it ended up in my portfolio, but it was 100% of bad. It was bad.
No. Well, I am spent with my questions. My one question is, where can people find you and your makeup? Where can they find, they need a, where Cher can call you?
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm represented by Cher. So you want to talk to Frank at Celestine Agency here in LA, or, but it's Brett Glam, brettglam.com, Brett Glam on Insta and TikTok and Twitter and like tips and Facebook and all that. But yeah, it's Brett Freedman, but Brett Glam. Yeah, for brows and lip balm and all that fun stuff.
Nice. And of course, now your new TikTok. I can't wait to see some exciting TikTok stuff going on.
Oh my God, same here. I'm not going to follow you because I can only follow Cher, but I will. Yeah. I will peek in on you for sure.
Oh, thank you. Because I'm going to do that. I'm dancing and then turn red. I don't understand.
I know. Where do we fit in there? Like these kids are creating such incredible content. Like I can sit there and I used to love YouTube because it was 10 minutes. Like these quick bites. Now it's a minute.
And I got to tell you,
like you can just keep scrolling, and if you don't like it, and it's so funny. And
they must have a crew that shoots this stuff, because
I don't know
how to do it.
Yeah, I've done a few, and like afterwards, we're like, oh, Jesus.
Like, what? How is that flying in? How are you, what, I don't get it.
Drones, I mean, Jesus.
I mean, maybe I'm just an old dog, and I just can't, can't find those.
Well, you're not old, because if you're old, I'm old.
Yeah, you look like 10 years younger than me, so don't even try it, mister.
Oh my God.
Don't even try it.
Keep saying it.
It's my makeup, Mike. It's just my makeup.
I'll come over and give you a little proof and do.
Brett, thank you so much for joining us today on the Mike Pingel Show. Everybody out there, thank you for watching. Please share, like, and send this around the world. If you are watching on Happy TV, thank you for joining us, and please subscribe. Tell all your friends about the LGBTQ Happy TV, the best free, gay, lesbian, everything else TV. So like it, share it, tell everybody about it. Thank you. And who's next on your roster this week you're going to talk to?
Who am I talking to? I'm talking to Real Simple after this at 4:30. So we're giving real simple tips.
And who's the next person on your makeup list?
Makeup list. I think Jodie Foster next week for Kimmel. I think she's doing Kimmel. So we're gonna.
I love. She doesn't know who I am, but love her.
She's amazing. She's so cool. We talk a lot about the Hollywood in the 70s and the 80s, which I'm obsessed with. And
I have so many.
Better to talk to about that than Jodie Foster.
Yeah, because she is Hollywood royalty. She's been here forever and been working since she was like what?
Yeah.
Big.
And it's so funny because she, like on the Zooms and everything, she's so revered. We were like, it's an honor to talk to you. And oh my God, like this and that. But they're very playful with her, which I think is nice.
Yeah.
They make jokes. So she's like the approachable legend or something. I don't know. She's pulled off the hat trick.
The world, yeah. Gotta love her. Thank you so much for your time. I know you have to go.
Oh my God, thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you later, Mike. Bye-bye.